Mr. Norberg.
Here.
And Commissioner Bender, who was an appointee to the Finance Subcommittee, is now the Supervisor of Elections for Escambia County, so we know that seat is vacant. But we do have a quorum present.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Next item, approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All right. Motion passes. Let's see, action items, election of 2024 chairman and vice chairman.
Yes, sir. It's hard to believe that it's already time for elections again, but it is. Of course, much like the Board of Directors for the Finance Subcommittee, this is totally up to the subcommittee. Our bylaws are open. We do have to make an appointment on an annual basis, but whether you want to keep that as is, have the vice chair roll up to the chair, or any other structure, it is totally up to the Finance Subcommittee members.
Got it. Thank you. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
I'm not opposed to maintaining the current structure, but
I'm perfectly content with that.
Okay. All right. We're rolling with that then. So moved, as they say.
Can we just have a formal vote?
All right.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Sounds good. Okay, next item, approval of November 8th, 2023 Finance Subcommittee meeting minutes. Any comments, questions, concerns?
Move to approve.
second.
All right, approved. Okay, next item, approval of the FY 23-24 first quarter financial report. Any comments on this? I know, Mike, you had one question, and Matt seemed to be able to answer that pretty quick.
Yeah,
So,
Matt got my question answered.
Okay.
It's very simple. Just question what the Escambia County EMS charge was for, so CPR.
CPR
training.
certification and
Mhm.
training. So.
and just to note, this covers everything from the, all the incoming from the, why can't I come up with the right word?
The gala.
The gala,
Yes,
that's the
sir.
word.
The party.
Yeah, the party. So I was looking through and I'm like, man, that's my name. And
Right.
several others. Like, what did I do? Okay.
There's
So-
other board member fees if you didn't know.
Yeah,
Kidding, of course. Just a little bit of commentary from me. This is our first quarterly financial report. This is the structure that you'll see moving forward. Like I mentioned last time, if there's a different format or additional information that any of y'all ever want, we can certainly add to that, change the structure. We can adapt as necessary. We've got a good working relationship with Carr, Riggs & Ingram who put this together. Just a couple of expenditure items I wanted to point out. You'll see legal services were paid under the general ledger. That may look a bit high because it shows as $22,000. That is because that is the expenditure associated with Beggs and Lane's services for the February through September period. So that's why it's looking higher than we would normally expect. Kind of on a related note, for the accounting services, we just paid that first invoice, which is around $11,000 or so. To be expected, I think, as we were transitioning the program, we expect that to trend down as we bring on the operations manager. The operations manager will take on more of that day-to-day bookkeeping role. We have not yet been invoiced for our office space. I've asked a couple of times. An invoice hasn't been submitted, so we'll see if they're giving an additional donation to us, or if somebody just happens to be out of the office. So
Yeah, we don't want that coming all in at once.
right. But
Fat
we
check.
we have budgeted for that accordingly, of
Okay.
course, and we'll maintain that.
Matt, I did just happen to see the landlord upstairs for just a moment. He did mention what good tenants you are.
We love to hear
I'll
that.
just add that in there.
Maybe the other the tenants are other problems, and we get a deeper discount. I don't
Yeah.
know how that works, but good
Sounds
to
great.
hear. You'll see that personnel expenses dominate expenditures, again, as to be expected. The one thing to note there is what's not reflected is retirement contributions, because we've been working out the retirement plan. We'll talk about that in the board meeting this afternoon. We are holding that budget within our general operating account. So that is budgeted for. You're just not seeing that show up yet on the expenditure side.
Okay.
And then finally, I think I had this in the backup as well, that in March, I expect to bring rebudgets forward as we enter the 6-month mark for the fiscal year and really true up the budget from where we stand at that point.
Great, okay. Any questions, any other comments?
So real quick, the transition between legal services and accounting services, all of that's rolling well. I mean, you don't have any concerns. We haven't run into any issues, especially from the accounting side.
Yeah, no, that was one thing that I was concerned about initially. So far, so good. I'll say that. Car Rigs has been very responsive to us and our needs. And I think one thing that we're going to be looking at as we progress is how to lessen the burden on them so we can keep those expenditures down on that account. And as it relates to legal services, of course, I've always spoken highly of Mary Jane, and that continues. As we're kind of getting past the 501c3 designation and some of the retirement, plan discussions with FRS, we expect that those expenditures will really, stabilize and be pretty limited to, participation in board meetings and then other contract reviews, contract and grant agreement reviews. And so we're starting to get to that stable point.
Cool. Yeah, keep an eye on those accounting services as staff take on more duties associated with that to make sure that those efforts are being shifted to the program.
Yep.
Seen in some other groups that I work with that didn't happen.
Right.
We're now catching those bills later.
Right, and I do think, over time, once we fill that position and see the ability of that person, there may not be a need for, outside services at some point in the future, but I think it's good to keep them retained for, at least the foreseeable future until we figure out what that really looks like.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
All right, I think we still need a motion to approve.
Move to approve the financial report as presented.
Second.
All right, motion passes. Comments from any of the members here? Nada, okay. Any comment from the public? All right, seeing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, we're adjourned. I'll bang this thing. All right, that's official.